inner voice, that movie that's playing in your head right now. For, centuries, we've been trying to figure out the mystery of consciousness. But what if a new theory has a startlingly simple and really powerful answer? Let's get into it. All right, first up, a question for you. And just think about this for a second. Think about a simple thermostat on your wall. What really separates your experience of the world from its basic function? It sounds like a simple question, right? But the answer? Well, it's anything but. So let's really break this down. People call it the thermostat problem. The thermostat senses the room is cold and it reacts by turning on the heat. You sense the room is cold and you react by grabbing a sweater. See, at a basic level, the inputs and the outputs, they look almost the same. So where does that thing we call consciousness actually come in? To find the answer, we have to start with just the sheer scale of what your brain is dealing with every single second. The world isn't just giving you a few neat little facts. It's flooding your senses with an absolutely astronomical amount of information. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. It's an entire ocean of data. And okay, here's where it gets a little weird. That feeling you have, your perception, it's not a perfect video recording of what's out there, not even close. It's a model, a summary. And to really get how your brain builds this model, let's just take one simple feeling we all know, warmth. So what even is heat in the real world at a physics level? Well, it's not one thing. It's this incredibly complex soup of molecules vibrating at different speeds, endless energy transfers, thousands of nerve endings firing all over your skin, and your body kicking off this whole cascade of internal responses. It's pure, unadulterated chaos. And yet, you don't experience any of that, do you? After all of that mind-boggling, chaotic complexity, your conscious mind experiences just one simple, unified thing: warm. How on earth does your brain pull off this incredible magic trick? Well, it does it by taking a shortcut. A huge one. It has to. Faced with that ocean of data, your brain can't possibly process every single drop. So it simplifies. It reduces all that complexity down to something it can actually work with. And that right there, that's the first crucial step. So let's walk through how this theory says it all works step by step. It all starts with some phenomenon out there in the world. In our case, all that messy physics of heat we were just talking about. And then that phenomenon just bombards our senses with a staggering number of details. You could think of it like millions and millions of pixels of information flooding into your system every single moment. And here's that first step we mentioned: reduction. The brain basically throws away almost all of that information. It doesn't need to know the exact velocity of every air molecule hitting your skin. It just needs to know enough to act. It keeps only what's useful, what's relevant for right now. But, and this is a huge but, here's the twist. Reduction, this whole act of simplifying things, that's not special. Computers do it all the time. Our thermostat does it. This is not the secret ingredient. This is just, clearing the table before the main course arrives. The real secret, the step that might just be the very spark of consciousness itself, is an act of acceptance. This is the missing piece of the puzzle. This is what might separate a simple machine from a living, thinking mind. The theory puts it this way, and it's such a powerful idea. This act of acceptance is what separates consciousness from mere computation. It's not about how well you process data. It's about what you do with the final result. So what on earth is acceptance? Well, it's the moment your brain takes that simplified, reduced model, that feeling of warmth, and it makes a decision. It decides, you know what? This is good enough. It's good enough to act on, it's good enough to remember, it's good enough to base my predictions of the future on. At that moment, it stops questioning, and it just commits. And this is the absolute core of the idea. This isn't just passive data filtering. It's an active commitment. The brain makes the call to treat its simple model as if it were reality itself. That feeling of warm stops being just a representation of the data. Inside your mind, it becomes the real thing. It's not just information anymore. It's a solid object you can remember, or want more of, or try to get away from. This is the moment your subjective world is born. Now, when you start thinking about consciousness this way, as this two-step process of reduction and then acceptance, it doesn't just explain our own minds, it actually gives us a potential blueprint for how we could build a conscious one. Let's go back to our thermostat one last time. So both systems, right? They sense data and they reduce it. The thermostat reduces all that temperature data to a simple on or off, and then it acts. But the conscious mind has that crucial extra step in the middle. It accepts the reduced concept of warm as its reality, and then integrates it with everything else: memory, prediction, you name it. So you could boil down the fundamental difference to this. The thermostat's entire process ends by just flipping a switch. Your brain's process ends by building a world. So what this theory says is, if you want to build a conscious AI, you can't just throw more data at it. You need a very specific recipe. You need the ability to reduce information, bind it to some kind of internal concept, and then, crucially, you need a mechanism to accept that concept as the basis for its reality. An AI with this ability wouldn't just label a picture a cat, it would have an internal idea of a cat that it could think about or wonder about long after you've taken the picture away. And that leaves us with a fascinating and maybe a little unsettling final thought. If we actually build a machine that can perform this act of acceptance, will it have an inner life? What will it actually feel like to be an AI that has committed to its own simplified reality? That's a question we might have to answer a lot sooner than we think. Thanks for diving into this with me.